Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Really Feminine podcast. I am super excited about today's episode. We have a very, very, very sweet friend of mine who I think you're going to absolutely adore on many different levels. But mostly, you are going to want to hear this conversation because if you have not been affected by some of the stories that she's going to tell you, you know someone very dear and near to you who has. And so I want you to really hang in there. This is going to be for all the girls out there. You're going to want to hear from my friend. But first, welcome, Michelle, my lovely cousin and co-host.
Thank you.
So today we have with us Laura Lentz, and if you know her, you know she radiates with wisdom, kindness, and I'm going to add to that, hilarious. She's making me laugh all the time. She's a speaker. She's a podcast host on the Lights On podcast and an absolute visionary. And I'm going to tell you, if you have not watched the Lights On podcast, you've got to go watch that. Just binge. You're just going to love it. Laura has such a heart for mentoring and walking alongside of women in all different seasons of life. With over 20 years in ministry, she's someone who has this beautiful way of just making you feel seen, understood, encouraged, no matter where you're at on your journey. You're going to see that today as we talk to Laura. She's not only a leader, she's a teacher, but she's also such a steady voice when it comes to faith, family, and living with intention. And you will also hear that today on this podcast. I love the way that Laura brings both strength and softness into the ways that she cares for people, because I really do believe it is a gift to be able to do both. I can't wait for you guys to hear from her today. Laura, welcome to the Really Feminine.
The Really Feminine. I love it.
And I want to say that you, to me, embody the idea of femininity out of where you've come from. Because you literally, a friend of mine told me this a long time ago, you literally crucified yourself for the sake of everything that we stand for. Family, marriage, home. So let's just dig right in. I cannot wait for people to hear from you. You know, before we were even friends, I was praying with you and for you, like over you. And we didn't even know each other. I met Laura through Amber.
Yeah.
You guys are friends, but that's how you and I became friends.
Right.
Yeah. And so great gift of a friendship. But tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Oh, boy.
All the things you want to share.
All right. Well, I'm Australian.
I love it.
Actually, New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, but Australian. Lived in Australia my whole life, and then I'm a pastor's kid. My mum and dad are pastors, amazing leaders still to this day in Australia. And they're very loved by a lot of people. And I've got one sister. She's a little bit younger than me, but I've lived in the States for over, how old's my oldest? 21. So 22 years and been married for 23 years. And
It's amazing.
yeah, grew up in church, always loved church, you know, had my little rebellious moments as a teenager, as you do, as a pastor's kid.
As you do.
Yeah. But just really loved everything church, and, you know, grew up in youth ministry and helping young women from a very young age, doing all of those things. And then I met my husband. He came over to Australia for Bible college, and that's where we met. He was doing Bible college. He was there for 4 years. And so we got married there, and then moved back to the States where he was from in Virginia Beach. And all my kids were born in Virginia Beach. We did ministry, youth ministry. He started traveling, doing all those things. And then we had an opportunity to go and start Hillsong Church, the first Hillsong church in America.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which was in New York. So we did that for 10 years.
That was, and I'm going to tell you, I know part of your opening story, and I've seen friends of mine plant churches. It is grueling in the beginning. Like you're setting up and breaking down church every single weekend.
And New York's a different beast.
Yeah.
So it's, that was a lot. We learnt a lot, and there was a lot that happened in those 10 years. And then, you know, I mean, we were doing 6, 7, 8 services on a Sunday
Oh my gosh.
because of the growth and the how it was going. And
That's a
finding
lot.
and finding buildings in New York is crazy. So there were times when we'd have 2 services going back to back, and my husband would have to preach, get off the stage, drive to the other location, preach, come back, do the other one, go back. He would just do this all day. So that was grueling. And during that time, there was some things that happened I didn't know about until 2020 hits. And my life completely was flipped on its head. My husband was found to be having, just, I don't even know what the word is anymore. Just he was living a double life, and I had no idea. And I found out one evening, September 2020, and my whole life changed.
Yeah.
And just in a matter of days, we went from this big life to now even bigger, more public life because of what had happened.
Right.
And so, my life changed, and we went on this journey of what the hell is my life?
What's going on?
What
just
is
happened?
going on?
Yeah.
And
it was so public. That's the worst part.
It was
It's
really
one
public.
thing finding out that your husband has been having an affair. It's another thing to find it out with the entire world.
Yes.
And then the entire world chasing you guys.
Yes.
Paparazzi,
Yep.
all the things. Yeah, that was brutal.
It was a lot. So we had, there was a lot happening in that season as well. My daughter at the time was 16, my middle daughter. No, she wasn't 16. She was 12, 13. And a month right before this had all exploded. My daughter ended up in a teen hospital for 8 weeks because she had harmed herself. And so we had to go through that journey. So I was like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. So that, and then compound it with this, I'm like, this is insane. Like my life was just, I couldn't even put any any words together. It's just unbelievable. But that was 4.5 years ago. And, we basically went into hiding. We tried to hide for a long time and just heal our family. It was the most important thing to us, was our family. And he has done a lot of work, and he's, he went to rehab and did all the things. And but it's been a process. It was a day-by-day process for me to be where I am today. And it's still a day.
It's still a daily.
Every day.
Yeah, it's a daily choice.
Yeah.
During that time, there's going to be a lot of women watching right now who have been affected by this. It could have been 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago. Or they very much suspect there's something going on. I can't put my finger on it. Did you ever suspect anything, Laura? Did you ever have that gut feeling?
Yes. There was times when I would be like, something's not right. But anytime I would bring it up, just little things, I'd be like, that was weird, or like, why is he home so late? Or that, anytime I would bring something like that up, I would just get gaslit. And that's what addicts do.
That's right.
And a lot of manipulative men do that, and women, depending on, the side. But so there was a lot of that. And that was that was one of the first things he said to me after he told me initially. He said, I'm just so glad you know that you weren't going crazy.
Wow.
And for him to say that was like, because that was some of the, he felt that and was like, I just want you to know you weren't going crazy. And what you did feel was what you felt, So, but yes, and I tell women this all the time now, like I get inundated with DMs, emails every day. Someone is contacting me about the fact that they just found out, or they're three weeks from, and just devastation. And so that's one thing I always tell women is you have to listen to that intuition, Holy Spirit, gut, whatever you want to call it, because that's usually. You're right on.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
also from a trauma perspective, just out of my experience, there are things, and I do want to speak to this really quick because what she's saying is so valuable and it's something everybody must listen to. And I want to make sure that also we filter that information through your past trauma, because if you have trauma from the past that is not healed, your brain will repeat the thought of something in the past until it becomes your reality. And then you will manifest into reality whatever it is you're repeating over and over and over. You'll just manifest that into reality. So if you have a trauma from a past marriage or a father or a mother or somebody that hurt you in your past, you can be hyper vigilant to every single sound, every sight, every smell. And then that's a whole nother subject. But whenever you're not operating in that, and we have an intuition, women have an intuition for a reason. When you have that and you're not, like, you can't put your finger on it, be careful when people around you, it doesn't just have to be an affair, it could be anything.
Right.
When people gaslight you, and that just means they try to convince you that what you're thinking is not real, that they want you to think what they're thinking, or they'll turn it around and make it your fault. So that's super important.
Yes.
But then to have that relief, even though it was devastating, it might have also been, I wasn't crazy.
Absolutely.
Because it's worse to feel crazy
Right.
than it is to know the truth.
Yes. And when you're in a marriage for so long, you obviously want to believe the best. You want to believe and trust and love. That's what you do. And so when those things would come up, I'd just be like, oh, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Like, just keep moving. You know, I've got family, I've got kids, I've got stuff, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what a lot of us do as well.
Yeah.
We just you want to trust. This is my husband. I love him. He loves me. This is why we're married.
He lied to me about that.
Right. And so you don't even want to go there. So you just keep going on with your days and your life.
Right.
So when it all happened, I was just in absolute shock.
I bet you were.
I just remember a therapist telling me that first week, like, don't forget to eat and don't forget to sleep.
That's right.
And it's exactly the first things you don't do.
It's so good.
And
so good.
It was just practical things like that. It wasn't make any big decisions, because I think we really, as women, we want to be like, right, that's it. This is it. You know what? You're so in shock.
Right.
That you need to take some time and not make any big decisions and just sleep, or try to, and eat and talk to someone.
How did you find out? Do you think that was a God thing that you found out? Or
so he got caught. So he was, and people always are like, because we get a lot of, things now, opinions on all of that. And it's like, I mean, thank God he got caught.
Yeah.
And he would say that too now. Like, it's like he was in a complete, like, spiraling down the worst, shame and pain he could ever been in. But he was caught. This is what happens with addiction. You start to do stupid things.
That's right. And you don't even
realize you're doing these things. And it was his assistant found some texts on his computer at work. So she told some of the staff that worked with us, like our chief of staff and one of our other friends, and then they pulled Carl in and had a conversation with him. And then they came and got me and pulled me into the office, and he had to tell me that. I thought we were going to do a conference meeting with everyone. I was like, oh, cool, like, let's go hang out. So I was like, and then I just got hit with that. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then from there, because when you're an addict, you're a liar. So there was just just days and weeks of just trickling. And because it was public as well, he had to tell me everything because he had no idea what could come out, who could find out, all the things. So it was the disclosure of all of that, which is another thing that you do when you're in this, in this type of thing, if getting help and healing. So there was a disclosure in all of that. So I had to know everything.
It's it. And it's like, what's worse?
Right.
Not knowing or knowing everything, I mean, what you almost think, I don't even want to know everything. And then you have to know everything. Yeah, I totally get that. So once you guys, in those first days, weeks, because I know that, like you just said, you get inundated. And I'd love for people listening to hear from you right out of the bat, like, what are the things you did in the first 3 or 4 weeks or a couple of months to actually survive. Because then you still have the children, you still have the home, you have, on your case, it was a little harder because you had all the public scrutiny and then trying to find a place to hide. And
Yeah.
But technically for you, I've ministered to a lot of women who've caught their husbands in affairs. And the thing that I hear the most from these women, I was on the floor curled up in a circle in my closet trying to just hide from everybody.
That is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So what happened, I'm trying to think, because it was like, again, when you're in shock, I don't remember a lot of those that first little while. But the first few days, so this is another part, we had just sold our house, like the week or two before this all come out. And so we were staying at a friend's house in the city in New York, in Brooklyn. So with the kids. So, and the person that's house we're at is a public person. And so they found out when it all happened because there was paparazzi everywhere. And he was like, hey, I need you to get out of my house, get out of my apartment. So then we were homeless.
Oh my God.
So that was another piece to the puzzle. So it was just all a lot. But anyway, the first few days, he called Bob Goff, he called Miles Cox, who's part of Onsite. Onsite is a therapy program that is incredible. But Carl called and went within days. He was gone and went for a 3-4 day intensive. And that's where he found out a lot about his past.
Yeah.
And they did a whole childhood timeline of everything. And he came back so excited.
Ugh, because he's not
And
throwing
relieved
up everything.
because he's like, oh my God, like, I know what's wrong with me. Like, this is amazing. Meanwhile, I'm like, what? Like, again, I'm like, how are you okay? Like, it was just a lot. So that was the first few days. In that time, I had a couple of people, because by this time we were fired from our position. Everyone stopped talking to us from our church. And it just was really lonely. And so...
Which, let me speak to that really quick, because this is my hot button, and I'm not going to mention any names.
Yes, it is.
Because it's my very big hot button.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to all the women out there who I'm going to tell you, it is the most... If you're a Christian and you do this, it's like... You can't brace yourself for what's coming. I cannot handle that women walk away from their friends when they're broken and hurting because they don't want the scandal, or they don't want to be attached to something, or they don't want, like, this has happened to a few of my friends who are big, huge public figures, where there is a scandal that hit them. They're completely innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. And everybody's attacking them.
Right.
I'm like, hold on a second. And in your case, I'm like, Laura is the victim. Why is everybody ditching you? Why is everybody running away from you? This is the time you needed your close friends.
Absolutely.
This is the time you needed people that you've walked through life with to come alongside of you and just hold you and let you cry and just sit with you or just feed you a bite to eat. Like, not to scold you and condemn you and then walk away from you because they don't want the scandal. Like, I cannot stand that.
Yeah, me too.
I cannot stand that, because it is in those times when all the stakes are down that you really get to see who a person really is.
100%. And that's where I learned a lot of what my friendships were.
That's right.
Because I thought it was real different. Because Carl and I are very much like, when a friend needed us, we would do whatever it took. We would jump on a plane. We would go wherever to meet someone, to be with them. So when this happened, it was like, it became from this to like this. And looking back on that now, we have a very different perspective on that, of that's what we needed at the time.
So otherwise, that you were isolated.
So we were isolated. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have healed if I had like all these people around me. Maybe I wouldn't have healed as well as I did. Same with him. Like, so we really learned a lot during that season, but we also learned what we would never be.
That's right.
And so that's why another reason why we tell our story now is because I'm like, it is such a lonely place.
It is.
And I'm like, I just want to be there for
whoever
it is.
Yeah.
So
because
these
you
women,
understand that pain.
100%. Like
Yeah.
even sitting here thinking about the people that reach out to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's always been my motivation, is like, I just want to be there. If my story can help, it was public and it sucked, yes, but it was for a reason. And no, so now I can help other women in the same situation, because it's not going anywhere.
Right.
This situation is not going anywhere. And
Right.
especially if the church keeps dealing with it the same way that they deal with it, which is to
Right.
stuff it and move along and
That's
just
right.
push the people out. It's not going to, that's never going to get any better.
What I don't understand as a Christian, okay, it's very disappointing to me to see people who stand on a stage and preach the gospel of Jesus, which is Jesus died on the cross so that we could be forgiven of our sins and redeemed and restored to new life. How do you stand, anybody in the church, and I'm putting air quotes, meaning the church, meaning like anybody who's part of our belief and our Christianity, who actually are part of the body of Christ. That's what I mean when I say the church.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That can preach that for a living and then not walk that out.
Right.
And I'm fully aware that because of Carl's position, he was a leader. He was humongous in the church. He was a great, and Carl, I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying this because I love you guys, but honestly, he's one of the most anointed preachers I've ever heard. I heard him for the first time in 2008 or 9 at our church back then. And I just remember just feeling like my hair had blown off.
Yeah.
Just the power of his anointing.
Because he always knew, he never preached from this high. If you look at any, I mean, you can't find any of his messages anymore because they took them down. But if you could hear some of his messages, everything was always from a place of grace and from a place of his own brokenness.
That's right.
He always talked about his own brokenness.
Right.
And that's what I loved, is that he, as much as he could, he would be as real as he could on
That's
that,
right.
you know, talking
And
about.
even on the podcast that you guys are on now, I've watched a few of them, and I've texted you before and said, oh my God, Carl's anointing is still as on fire as possible, because he's still preaching. He's still teaching.
Right.
He's just not in a church on a platform.
Which is so funny to me, you know, because obviously what he did disqualifies him from the platform.
Oh, whatever.
We still get to share Jesus every week in our podcast.
I'm so
And
glad
we
that
can
the church decides that the platinum is not there, because God forbid anybody should be like Paul.
Yeah, right.
God forbid we should ever remember Paul's journey when he was a murdering, he annihilated Christians when his name was Saul. His job was to kill Christians and burn down churches and anybody and then Jesus encountered him on the road and changed him to Paul, which authored the majority of the New Testament.
Yeah.
The epistles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hello, where is that?
Right.
That drives me nuts. Okay, I'm done with that.
I know I love you so much.
I get so irritated I'm so done with that whole hypocrisy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I want to push into. And I know you and I can have this conversation for 10 hours, because I really, I understand the politics of that, but I want to see more grace, because I'm going to tell you, Carl's going to have more impact in the world based on his overcoming story with real people in the world, as will you, than people who've lived a perfect stainless life.
Right.
That's like, get over
That no
your-
one can see.
Yeah, stop it. It's
Yeah.
coming out.
Right.
So this is why I think for you and your femininity, that's what I want to speak to, because it takes a very special, strong, feminine woman to go through what you went through, Laura, and hold your family together. It's because of you, and I'm not trying to take away from God. I'm not trying to take away from all the work Carl's done. I know he's done a ton of work. It's because of you that your family is still together. But I love what that guy said on Carl's podcast. You do know that if Laura had divorced you and moved on, she'd be on the cover of People magazine, Vogue. She'd be on because of the name you guys had. But because you decided to stay and fight for your family, the world at large ostracized. That makes me sick to my stomach. So I'm going to turn you around, and I want you to be on the cover of every, because that to me is a real woman. That to me is the epitome. And I talk about the girls that I served in the safe house. They're the Navy SEALs to me.
Absolutely.
They've been through the worst of the worst,
Yeah.
like anything you can't even imagine, the stuff they've been through. But they keep fighting. They want their kids back. They want their lives back. They want to increase their life. They came back from utter trial. Okay. And I think the same thing about you, because it takes an enormous amount of strength and dignity and class and power and femininity is the overarching of all of that, to actually allow all of the fire to burn through your family and stay the test of time. And I want you to speak to why you stayed, because that's a big cornerstone
Yes.
for that.
100%.
Why you stayed.
So I will just say, I do not condone or like tell women to stay in their marriage.
Right.
Even if they've got biblical standing for, like, because I get praised all the time for staying. And I'm like, yes, but I only stayed for a few reasons.
Right.
And if I didn't see those reasons, I'm out.
That's great.
And so I want women to understand that you should never stay in a marriage if there's affairs, if there's abuse, if there's anything like that, and there's no change happening.
That's right.
So if this constantly keeps going on and your husband is coming to you and is like, just get over it, I'll do better next time.
I was sorry.
I said I was sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I stand for.
That's right.
So that's why, my story is a little different, because my husband has done so much work. And that's a big thing. But for the why, in the very beginning, I know I've talked about this on our own podcast, but after he'd come back from his therapy intensive thing and he found out all this stuff, and he was on the phone one day with one of the therapists, and she was asking him about his childhood. And he started to explain an abusive situation that happened, sexual abuse that happened to him when he was about 4. And he started talking about it, and then he couldn't get through any more of it. He broke down, and the tears that came and the pain that came, I was like, oh, I think I understand now. I understand why you did and you were doing what you were doing.
Right. It really was never about you.
It wasn't about me.
That's right. And that's the other thing I want women to hear. It's not
never about you.
Really about you.
Yeah.
Ever.
And so from that moment, I was like, okay, I can do this as long as I can see that.
That's right.
And I see that brokenness.
That's right.
And I see him working on that and changing that. And I can say for 4.5 years, he has done that and shown up consistently every day.
That's good.
Every day.
That's good, Laura.
And if he didn't, and he knows this, and it's not a threat,
Right.
but he knows, but I just wouldn't be around.
Right.
And he's done it for him.
That's it.
And he's done it for himself, that, to get clean and to get, get all those broken pieces out. But he's done it for me, and he's done it for the kids.
That's right.
And I've watched him do that every day.
That's right.
And it's been amazing.
And if they're not doing that, and I know you and I talked about this, and just for people listening, I need to say this. If you're a victim of an adulterous affair, you have to see that your husband's doing more work than you are.
Absolutely.
You can't be the one doing all the work and he's doing nothing.
And you can't be the one
But you
doing
do have
the
to do the work for you, but
not for him.
That's it. It cannot be for him, right?
And he has to do the work, because I have women again calling me or asking me, how can I find a therapist for my husband? I'm like, firstly, that's not your job, man.
Come on.
Do not do anything for that man.
That's
This
right.
is his journey.
That's
if he's
right.
going to prove to you, he needs to do all that work.
That's right.
Everything, go look it up on Google, call your guy mates, whatever it is, like, get the help you need. But you as the woman should not be doing that.
If you have to find a therapist for your husband,
No.
it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah,
If
no.
he's not willing to, like, I love what you said right out of the gate, Carl, just jump straight into
Straight away.
getting help. And I know that he's working every single day on this. And that's the way that you stay together, because otherwise it's just going to repeat itself.
Absolutely.
And so why stay there for more and more pain? You have to sit down and you have to let him find his way out of his let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, this is not the rule, but 9 times out of 10, he's not having an affair because you're not skinny enough, because you're not pretty enough, because you're not clean enough, or
you're not having
enough.
enough sex.
You're not having enough
nope,
sex.
It's none of that.
It's never any of that.
Right.
It's because there's something going on with him. He needs something that he cannot find within himself.
And I think that's the hardest thing for women, is to realize that I can't fix him. I can't control what he's going to do.
Right.
So even knowing all the passwords on their phones, and them, you being able to trace them every step they're going, and him calling every moment to tell you where he is. That's all wonderful in the beginning, because you need that safety.
That, right.
But ultimately, I had to learn, this is not about me, was the first one. And then I cannot control this man.
That's right.
If he wants to do this, he will do it again.
He'll figure it out way. Yeah.
They will figure it out, because that's what they've always done. And so that was really hard, because I would wake up in the middle of the night, that first few years, but the first 6 months was like the heaviest. First year, 6 months. But I would wake up, he'd be asleep. I would have to find his phone and just scroll, doom scroll, like just wanting to find anything, like, just to relieve this anxiety and this pain, and but ultimately it doesn't fix anything. But I had
to go through that. You have to go through that.
You go through all of those things, and then you either choose to okay, I'm not living this way anymore. Right. I have to do some things for myself. And this whole time I was doing therapy as well, but I had I changed therapists quite a few times, which is okay to do, because you've got to find the right therapist for you.
That's right.
But specifically, I did betrayal trauma therapy, which a lot of women don't know about. And they don't know that that's available to them. But betrayal trauma therapy was very helpful for me and very healing. And then also doing a lot of codependent meetings, groups, stuff like that, which was really hard for me, because I'm not codependent. And then I read the book Codependent No More, which is this incredible book by Melody Beattie. And now that's the number one, if people ask me, what books did you read? And I've got, gosh, you ask Carl, they're all over the house, but I've got books on all of this subject.
Right.
But the number one book I tell women to read is that book.
That's right. Same.
Yeah.
I always say that book's a game changer.
Yeah.
I think
so that
every
just taught me
human
so
should
much.
read that
Absolutely.
book. Not just, I think every human should read that book.
Yeah. And I think in leadership and everything that we were doing, I think a lot of people are codependent. They just don't know what the meaning of it is.
That's exactly right.
Go read the book. But
it's a God complex inside of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you could break down very beautifully with your drawings and all your things, your graphs.
My
and
handy dandy whiteboard.
Yeah. Which I love. But yeah, so those were the things that helped me the most to realize I cannot fix this man, and he's either going to change or he's not.
It's so freeing to just make that decision. How did you start to work? How did you start to find your femininity back, Laura? Because I can imagine how you must have felt so worthless and so rejected, and then you start comparing yourself to this other woman and blah blah blah. And so how did you find your feminine back and take that back for yourself?
It's a good question.
Because I think women need to get to that as quick as possible.
Yes.
Go through the mourning and the grieving.
Yep.
But to get to that as quick as possible, to take yourself back.
Yep. So I did a few things. I think the first thing was when we finally got settled, I was able, thankfully, and a lot of people can't do this, but I was able to go to on-site as well and do a 4-day intensive, which is literally 4 days of just intense therapy with one person in a room. And I was able to focus on a lot of body work and a lot of finding my feelings again, because I'd realized, and I didn't know this, that again, I was codependent. I was constantly making sure the family was fine. You know how it is as a mom, a wife, you're like making sure husband's fine and like they've got everything. So my needs were always last. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to work on some of that and go, actually, I'm first.
That's right.
If I'm going to be a good mom, a good wife, a good woman, I need to put myself first.
That's
and
right.
that is the hardest thing for wives and mums to do.
That's right.
Women to do, because we're so nurturing and our nature is to help everyone else
Serve and
first.
give. Yeah.
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 And so it was a real mind shift for me, especially growing up in church as well,
Yeah.
like the submission and this and that, and like being a wife and all the things that you do, serving other people and pastoring people. It's always them first and our needs second. So that was a real shift for me. But if anyone does get to go to a place like to do an intensive, they say it's 5 years of therapy in 4 days.
It's called On-Site.
On-site. And you can find it online, on-site, or Experience On-Site is also, I think that's their Instagram. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that place changed my life. Mm-hmm. And I came back from that like just ready to be like, okay, this is what's not going to happen. This is what I'm not going to put up with. Like I went through all of these things, and you should see my husband's face. He was just like, who is this woman? Because for so long I couldn't even put a sentence together. Like, oh, I don't know, whatever you want, like whatever the kids need, all of this. And I just came back like, this is what I'm going to tolerate and this is what I will not tolerate.
That's right.
All of those things. I just put it on the table, and he was able to be like, oh, I love this.
Oh.
And they will rise to the challenge if you give them that.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we always do, a lot of girls, women that I've ministered to will say, I hate it that he's like my third child. I have to tell him to do everything. And if I don't tell him to do it, it doesn't get done. And why can't he just be an adult in the house? And I'm like,
You've allowed that.
You have dominated this domestic role and even if he did take the trash out, it wouldn't be done right.
Right.
And then and so we go through this whole downward spiral, but I'm like, use your words and say, can you please just take the trash out? And then they will probably do it. Most men that I've counter coached to some of the husbands, they're like, if she can just tell me what she wants, I will 100% do it. But it's all the moaning and the whining around it. But for our needs, we just want them to know what we need.
Right. You should know. You know me.
Hello.
Nope,
they're from Mars. We're from Venus. Like they're two separate planets. We're two separate beings. We look the same. We're called humans, but we are two separate entities. And so when you pick up, especially a man like Carl, and you come back in, because men will lose who they are in the midst of, it's okay, whatever you think. It's okay. I'll let you lead. It's okay. They are like free falling in eternity. Like they forget their selves. And and no disrespect to men, because I minister to women, and I always say, let's pretend men don't exist on our planet. It's just us. So don't go like, that's disrespectful to men. Men are not even in our atmosphere right now. I'm just speaking to women. We're just us. Okay. This is no disrespect to men, but I always say men are created for 3 purposes: to war, to provide, and to protect.
Yep.
Leave them to that. Everything else is on us.
Yep.
And it's the fun stuff.
Right.
They have to war, provide, and protect. And that's how they're at their most fierce.
Yeah.
If they want, they can be a warrior. They can go provide for their family, and they can protect their family. That's what they need. And a little sex.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of sex.
Yeah.
They need a lot of sex. But if you understand that they truly, look at us, we're friends. Our husbands have talked because we're friends. The same thing with me and Amber. Like, all the girls get together and the husbands begin to communicate with the other girls. That's the way it always is.
Right.
So at the end of the day, men need the boundaries. They need the strength. They need this is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. This is what I need from you. And I'm going to leave that with you to sort that out. But if we just keep rolling over, it's okay, whatever. They literally will flail in that.
100%.
And so you come back like strong.
Yep.
This is what we're doing.
Yep.
And it's not disrespectful and it's not haughty. It's just knowing who you are.
I had needs that I needed to get met during that season. And it was things like, in the very beginning, when you're trying to build trust, because people ask me this as well, how do you build trust again? And it's these little day by day moments that you're doing. So for me, what I needed in that very first moments were those first months where I needed to have check-ins with him every, like, morning, lunch, dinner.
That's
like
right.
It was like, okay, how are you? And we would have these questions that we would ask each other, and the answers were not allowed to be good, great, fine. They needed to be like details,
Words,
like
right.
tell me your words, because for so long, and I think a lot of men do this as well, they don't say what's going on in their head. And so we sit there and we're like, I don't actually know what he's thinking, feeling, what he needs, because they do other things around that, or they just, get too busy or whatever. So I really needed the words. And for so
What
long,
questions
because
did you ask?
we had like, oh gosh, I wish I had my journal with me. We would have a breakdown of how are you feeling physically, how are you feeling mentally, how are you feeling sexually, how are you feeling? And so that was one framework that we would
really
use.
good.
And it would have to be like, and how are you feeling spiritually? So all of these things, and you would have to use full sentences that to describe what was going
God,
on
I
just at
love
that moment.
that.
And for a lot, we used to do that when we lived in California. We were only there for 6 months, but during those 6 months, that's what we did every day. Until I didn't need that as much. Like at first I was like, it could have been an hour ago he told me some things, but I needed it again because it was all these little moments and triggers and thoughts and like just painful stuff that would come up, and I had to get it out of my body. And there's another
so
book called
important.
Body Keeps the Score.
Body Keeps the Score is one of the best books ever
And that was
written.
another thing. I was like, I'm not going to keep this trauma inside.
That's
because I
right.
know what it's going to do to me.
That's right.
And even though we did all of this work, a few years later, that's when I met Amber, my body started to react to what was happening. My cortisol levels were all off. I was inflamed. Like, it was just, I was a mess, even though I was still doing all of this work. So it's like, I was really dedicated to doing the hard work of healing, because my other thing that I'd seen a lot of people who go through similar things, and women just sit there and they stay in that pain and they don't change.
That's right.
And instead of dealing with it and like trying to build healing with your husband, if you're going to stay, they would just get bitter and angry and hard and put up walls. And I was like, I refuse, God, to let my heart be bitter.
That's right.
And that is what I worked really hard on.
Because
I was like,
all
I'm
that
not
that
gonna
does is turn into disease
100%.
in your body.
In your body.
So the person who hurt you is actually free and happy because they've actually just been found out, and now they feel like they've thrown up all that toxicity. And now they're like, whoa, I feel so free. And they're just like doing life. And the one that got the throw up all over them, the one who actually got the pain, when they start, bittering down, all that bitterness turns to disease. And then it's the victim of the circumstance that ends up being the one that gets sick.
Right. And so I think that women, if you're going to stay and do the work. Like,
right.
Don't stay and look at your husband every day and be
And hate. Yeah.
BITCH. Like, just don't be that. Like, choose to, because that both can be like really destructive. So staying and doing that is just, what are you getting from that? Either leave,
Right,
and go, like,
and
be
start a new
bitter
life
and do that
and
somewhere
yeah,
else,
right,
if that's what you're
right,
gonna do. But
right.
you trying to like put this on him forever, I mean, it's fun for maybe a little while to use, but it's just not. It's not productive.
Right. And I think it's a reaction to fear. I've also seen this happen a lot, is that some of my clients will say, my husband is calling me very controlling. And I said, well, there's a new idea about being controlling. You're not trying to control him. You're trying to control the environment around you from being hurt again.
100%.
You are self-protecting from him doing this again
Yep.
and harming you. At the end of the day, it's still about you.
Right.
It's really not about trying to control. Nobody wants to try to manage somebody's behavior 24/7. What you're doing is putting a veil around a veil of iron around you to protect you from being hurt again.
Yes.
So you're like, I've got to watch what you're doing. I've got to watch that phone call. I've got to check your this, because if you even slide down that area again, you're going to hurt me again.
Absolutely.
And one of my clients had a massive revelation about that. I said, in fact, if you armor up and you secure yourself in your little circle, and you don't let that veil be so thin and papery, but you start fortifying it, then nothing can hurt you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will say, because people are like, I think women want a quick fix
Oh,
to
yeah.
this thing.
Not a
And
quick
I'm
fix.
just going to say it right now. Like, I'm almost 5 years in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's taken all of those years
Mm-hmm.
to get to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't say I forgive you until year 3.
Yep.
So that's another thing. Like,
And that's okay.
that's okay.
That's okay.
And I was angry at God for
Yep.
those 3 years.
Yep, I
And
bet.
that's okay.
That's right.
God can take my pain, like he can understand my hurt and
That's
my
right.
anger. And I would just, we still tried to go to church and do all the things, and I was just like, I was just blank.
Yeah.
But it's just important to know that all of these things are normal,
That's
and
right.
there's no quick fix. There's no quick fix.
quick fix.
But it
I
takes a
heard
lot
somewhere
of
that it was
intentional work.
7 years before you actually stop thinking about it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
That
That seems like a long time, but it goes by really quick,
It does,
doesn't it?
Yeah. When you're in it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You feel like, am I ever going to get through this pain?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing. I had one friend that had gone through the same situation, not as public, obviously, but the same situation like a year before me. And she was my person.
Wow.
She was the one saying, Laura, it's going to get better. It's
Yeah.
going to get easier. That what you're feeling right now, I totally understand. And that's going to go away. That'll start to fade, and it'll start to be replaced with different memories and,
Yeah.
all of that. She was my person that like helped me through that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, if I can be that for whoever's watching
Yeah.
and listening, it's like, it does get better if you choose to look at it that way
When did you start taking care of yourself again?
right away.
Right.
Like
I mean physically. Like,
physically.
yeah. Did you ever compare yourself to this other woman? Did you ever?
Yes, because
Yeah.
naturally that's what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
And so I had to do a lot of work on that in my therapy sessions, and but I was really determined because I was like, I don't want to think about this all the time. But anytime I had triggers, anytime I had thoughts, I would just talk them out with Carl.
Yeah.
And he was always the greatest listening ear.
Yeah.
And always understood. He never once has said to me, you should get over that.
Oh.
Like, really? It's been how many years? He's like, I will be doing that forever. Like, if there's things that come up, we're going to talk about it.
I can't. If somebody's telling their wife that they've just cheated on to get over it,
Get out.
get out.
You need to leave.
You need to leave. Get
Yeah.
out. Like that is the. That
Yes.
is.
But they do it all because of their own shame and their own hurt, because it's just too hard to bear to see your wife in pain.
That's right.
And I understand that, but you have to stop.
Right.
Can't
And
do that.
a lot of women are watching and they're thinking, my husband left with this other woman. And I do want to have a conversation at some point. If you are listening to this and you've been the mistress to a married man, you need to hear the pain that you have helped cause to a family, because
Yes.
your children were devastated by it. The ricochet of that all the way out through your parents, his parents.
Yeah.
I mean, the pain that just
The
ricochets,
church,
the church.
the staff, like it impacted a lot of people.
Yeah, I think I think women listening who've actually been the other woman, you better run to the altar and get on your knees and ask for forgiveness, because it's a very devastating and damaging place to be. And I really don't understand that mindset that actually gets off on that.
Yeah.
It's a devastating thing. But more than that, I just want women to hear the devastation that it causes.
Yeah.
The ricochet of that is just very horrible. Let me ask you this. We talked about this earlier. We're in a world that devalues women for staying with men who have cheated. Have you protected yourself from that and what other people think?
Yeah, that was a tough one as well, because there's a lot of people that have opinions, especially if you're on social media we were in the media publicly a lot, and there was documentaries made and just everything that was going on. So for me, I had to really guard myself from a lot of that. And even to this day, I still have to guard myself,
Oh my
because people still
gosh.
have their opinions on this situation. And I'm just like, I know I had to really hunker down and be like, I know what my truth is.
Right.
And this is the one that I choose to believe.
That's right.
And I had to put all of that aside. And
That's
because
right.
what I found was a lot of people would project their story onto me
Oh my gosh.
and what they experienced and would push it on me like it's going to happen, like, you know, from cheaters never change to, you know, this, he will do it again, about like, and their own story being projected. And I
Their
had
own
to,
bitterness,
their
yeah,
own bitterness
and
and their own stuff.
fear,
And I had
yeah.
to go, okay, I can see through that
Yeah.
and see what they're doing. This is my story.
Right.
And I know what I see and what I believe and what my husband is doing to change and to help me get through this.
Would you say women listening who want to stay, would you agree, surround yourself with, find somebody who did stay and it worked instead of being in association with women who just left and got a divorce?
Yep.
Because the women that left and got a divorce have their own reasons.
Yes.
Nobody's condemning that.
Right.
But I don't believe in, how do you feel about that? Like, I don't believe you should do association and healing with somebody that didn't choose the path that you're
Yeah,
choosing.
I had to choose very carefully who I listened to during that time.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because people, again, they'll just be like giving their opinion on what happened. And I think the biggest thing you can do, the best thing you can do for someone who's going through this is not give your opinion or what you think you would do.
Right.
Because I can tell you right now, I was the same way.
Same. Yeah.
When I saw these people going through what I went through, I'd be like, I would never stay. This stupid, why would you stay? The very different when you're in it.
Yeah.
And so the thing your friend would need the most, or if you're the person going through it, you just need someone who's going to listen,
That's
not
it.
give their opinion, just
That's it.
love you and listen. And you're going to say crazy things because you're in shock. You're
Or
going to
tell
say
you how many
things
ways that it was your fault.
yes. And you just need to be really careful who you listen to.
And that's really good wisdom for all of life too, in
Yeah.
whatever season you're in. I really do think that. How did you navigate your children? Like, because not only are you a mess and falling apart, but you have 3 children who's also been betrayed.
Yes.
By their father.
100%. So that was tough because they were all older. 16, 14, and then my son was 12. He was the youngest, and we told him the least amount because of his age. And that was probably, looking back, we should have told him a bit more because he ended up finding out because, again, it was public. He found some stuff on YouTube that he was very confused about. And so Carl had to go back and do some of that damage control. But the girls, because of their age and being on social media and because of people being horrible and nasty, we had to tell them everything to what they needed to understand and all of that. And because Carl was so honest with them in telling what happened and how and all of those things, they have such a incredibly close relationship now. And it's been beautiful to watch. Like Charlie was, she's my middle. She was probably the most, that was a hard one because she was in the hospital at the time. And it was COVID. And so Carl had to tell her that he had lost his job, that we were moving across the state when she gets out, across the states, and that, you know, he'd had an affair and all of these things were coming out. And so she had to find out over Zoom. And so that was really hard. And so we asked the hospital if they would keep her for a couple more weeks to do some more therapy.
But that's a really good place for her to find out.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, so that was a lot to navigate as well. Our oldest, she probably took it not the best, you know, what I mean by that, but just in terms of understanding and forgiving her dad.
Yeah.
Because every little soul structure is different. But
You're right.
my son now is 16. He's doing therapy now to, you know, undo some of those things and some of the trauma. Because we just up and left the town that he loved with, you know, had to leave friends and school. And why are we moving? You know, like, so that was a lot on his little soul.
Right.
And then to have to figure out that dad hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, so now at 16, he's talking through some of that with a therapist. And
so it's so
and it's
good
so
that you
important.
guys are making sure that those kids have a voice to
Yep.
be heard and to process through therapy, because so many people don't do that.
Yeah. It's
and
really important.
It's a lifetime of damage.
Yes. We've got some friends that don't that didn't do the therapy for their kids or never talked about it again with their kids. And you can see the results of that now. And they're all, that was all a long time ago. But it's just like, it's so important for kids to be able to have that outlet outside of the family.
How, for people listening, Laura, how would you structure that? Because like in your opinion, how would you say what's the ages that they shouldn't know? Because not everybody's going to have the
and that's the beautiful
stuff.
thing. I think it's great that if they don't need to know sometimes, in some situations, but if they do, and if there's ways that you can protect them, great. But if they have any inkling or think they know something, it's really important, I think, to tell. And even younger, I mean, just saying something simple, but you don't have to give them obviously things they can understand. But if it doesn't have to be said, like I've got someone that was reaching out to me and her kids are like 3 and 5 or something, 6.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no.
And I'm like, they don't need to know.
They don't need to know anything.
Yeah.
They just need to,
And if they ask questions, you can, or if they see you cry. So my kids had to see me cry. Or they had to see me like being in bed for days. I didn't want to get out of bed or whatever it was. Like I just had to be honest. Like I'm just having a really hard day.
Yeah, right. That's right.
But if you can protect them from that, because even, that stuff, they're affected by that.
Right.
And it can be traumatic for kids. So
I often counsel to not tell the kids
Yeah.
unless they know something.
Yep.
Because then you have the mess of it all.
Yeah, it's just
and
so much to have.
It's easier for
so much to deal with.
You to go through the healing and get back on your feet and get your sea legs back, like I call it, and then deal with them.
Yeah.
To get the marriage reestablished if somebody decides to stay.
Yeah.
Then bring the kids in later is always my recommendation. So if you're watching, I don't recommend you just go run and tell your kids everything right now.
No.
And it should always be under the guise of a counselor or a professional in that area.
Yep.
Because they're going to give you tools that you don't know
Yes.
to use.
Right. No, exactly right. If I didn't have to have it be so public for them, I definitely would have found a way to be able to tell them differently. Absolutely.
Right. So what's the process you went through to even forgive? I don't want to say. I'm not going to call her what I normally call, but what the other woman. I'm going to be nice here on this podcast. The mistress.
Yeah.
The home wrecker. How did you go through that? That's another big one that I've ministered to for bajillions of times is how do I stop obsessing and actually forgive her?
For me, I've really found because I was focused on myself.
That's good.
I did not think about her.
That's good.
I did not think
not
about
common, but that's good.
It's not common, and I don't have a really great answer for that because I don't feel like because I've had people ask me this as well, like, when did you forgive this person or that situation or that? And I'm like, maybe I'm still in process with some of that.
Yeah.
But I never gave it enough of my attention.
That's good.
To even be bothered to think about this person.
Because you were more focused on you.
I was focused on me and my kids.
That's it.
And
that's good.
Building my marriage. And I mean, I could have, and I could still, because again, I had to see some of this in magazines. I had to see it like,
oh my gosh,
on TV shows and like just stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I just chose not to look at it.
That's good.
And I don't know if that's maybe unhealthy or not, but it just never was it wasn't that big for me. That part wasn't big. It was about me.
Yeah, that's good. I have seen very, very different stories in my years of ministering to women that it is their absolute obsession. Like they will stalk, they will drive and find and hunt.
I don't know what
and
we're
travel.
looking for. What are we looking for? Like what do you get when you do that?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So for me,
You
like
get
even
further
the
in the hole.
details, some of the details, yes, I wanted to know some things, but then I would have to stop sometimes and ask myself, why do I want to know that detail?
Right.
Is that going to bring me more pain?
Right.
Because ultimately I have to work through that.
Right.
Because anything that gets brought up, I have to, then I visualize it, or then I'm like thinking about that. Like even, I had to work through stuff with our intimacy in sex.
That's right.
And that takes a lot of work.
Yes.
And it's either like, am I going to focus on thinking about this person?
Right.
Or am I going to focus on being with my husband?
That's right. That's good.
And so but I had to do that as well.
It's an intention.
There's times that you're just like, okay, I can't, mid-sex, I got to stop.
Yep.
Because I'm triggered.
Yep.
And that's normal.
That's normal. Yeah.
And again, we had to talk all of those things through, and having someone that I felt safe with, my husband, being able to be safe enough I could bring all these triggers to him.
That's it.
And he wasn't triggered.
Right.
You know, like he was able to hear and listen to these things and gave me the space and the time to heal.
And that's also a very important, and again, I encourage every single person who is watching to go to the Lights On podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on all the outlets, because Carl and Laura have shared everything. Even the kids.
Yeah.
You guys had the kids on and they shared their parts. And it's just incredibly resourceful for the information that even the questions you guys ask each other is so powerful for people going through this. And the reason this is a huge hot topic for me is because it is the axe in the center of a family. It's like putting an entire family through a chopping mill. And then you have a million pieces come out on the other side. And then it's like, it's always the wife. Now, I know that there's men who have caught their
Right.
wives cheating.
Yep.
But this is not the really masculine podcast. This is the really feminine podcast.
Right.
So my heart's for women. And you can go talk to Carl about that. But I see that we have our children, we have our home, we have our family unit, our business, we have our marriage, we have our sexuality, our femininity, our husband. All of that gets shoved through this chopping block. And then it's like a chop mill. It's like a blender. And then it comes out on the other side in a million pieces. And then everybody's looking at this pile of rubble going, okay, how are we going to put that back together again?
Yeah. It's exactly what it feels like.
And then you have the other woman who's enticing and still chasing and still trying to get the one up because that seductive love is so intoxicating, and trying to get him to come and be with her and not go back to the family. And this family is in a rubble.
Yep.
And the woman who has a heart like you, most of us do, where we think, how are we going to put all these pieces back together? And then how are we going to, because it's for the kids first, right? It's like for the family unit, the kids. And then we think, okay, wait, there's me.
Yeah.
Right. All of that stuff that is in that pile. That's why I give so much like applause and adoration to women like you, because you literally looked at that rubble and thought, oh my gosh, how are we going to put this back together? And my advice, and the thing I love that you did, was you took the Carl pieces out, and you went like this, that's on you.
Yep.
Like, you got to, that's for you. I'm not putting you back together. I'm putting me and my children back together.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And that's all you're responsible
at
for.
some point, I definitely didn't even put the kids back. I was like, I
Well, you
stopped
couldn't,
being a mom
Laura.
for a while.
You couldn't.
I was like, even sometimes to this day, I still struggle to parent in some moments, and I'll just be like, I find myself like, if there's something happening with the kids or an argument or something needs to be solved, I kind of shut down. And that's still something I'm working on. And Carl will always, he steps in obviously really well with that stuff as well. But that's been a moment, and he's okay with me doing that.
Right.
Because I'm still in process.
That's
like,
it.
It's this, all of this crap takes a really long time, and
does.
that's okay.
It is. It's healing because,
Yeah.
and I've told several of my clients, I want you to imagine that you are walking across a train track, and then you didn't realize it because it was silent, that a train just hit you and carried you down the track for a minute. You're mangled.
Yep.
And then they put you back together in an ambulance, and they drive you to the hospital, and they put you in a bed, and then you're like all mangled, and all this team of doctors and nurses are trying to put you back together, and you're going to be in the hospital for 6 months. No one is going to come and say, get up out of that bed and move on.
Right.
How evil is that?
Yeah.
For anyone to walk into a hospital room, my cousin was actually hit by a train, and she took years to get back to normal. But it took her 6 or 7 months, 8 months maybe in the hospital, and bajillions of surgeries. Not one person came to her and said, "Are you kidding me? You're still in the hospital? Get up and move on." No, everybody was just like empathetic and surrounding her and what can I do to help you? But see, somehow whenever you get hit by the train of adultery, if someone in your life that you love, that is the one that actually hurt you, tries to tell you to get over it and move on, that is, you've got to move on.
Yes.
Like you actually need to move on.
Absolutely.
Because there's, if you purpose it after, and this is, I'm speaking to women who've been affected by this, because if you purpose it after that physical attack on your body is being drugged down a train track by a train, that's actually what's happened to you.
Yep.
When you find out about an affair. Okay. Now, give yourself a break.
Yep.
Give yourself a break and give yourself the time it takes to heal. You're not going to be in the hospital 1 week later and go, "Oh my God, I got to get out of here. Get all these cords off of me. Like, take all these casts off of me. I got to get out of here. I got to get moving." No, you're going to be forced to stay in that bed and heal. And that's what I want to give to women who are listening, who are like bawling their eyes out right now because they're like, "Oh my God, that's my life. That's how I feel." You take time to heal. And most importantly, find yourself again. If you don't find yourself, I mean, you just said that, like you have to find yourself.
Yes. You have to find yourself. Otherwise, I mean, I'm 4.5 years in and I still feel like I'm finding myself.
Right. And you will, but I'm going to tell you, I'm so thankful in what the Lord has done for you and through you. And I know you're getting ready to write a book, which everybody's going to be on, bated breath waiting for that. And I think that's going to be so powerful to take back from this evil world. Take that back and give women the power back. Give them back their dignity and their self-respect. And put all the pieces back together again. Because, I've said this a million times. It will never be the same.
Yeah.
As it was before.
No. It'll either be worse or it'll be better and different. Like, we're on marriage 2.0.
Right.
Is what we call it.
It's a new marriage.
It's a brand new.
When we started, new people.
Exactly. When we started this journey of healing, we felt like we were relearning so much about each other. Things I never knew. It was like dating again. And that was really fun, actually.
Yeah.
And even though
That's the honeymoon phase.
Yeah. And I wouldn't wish my story on anyone, but gosh, I wouldn't change it now.
Right. Right.
Which is crazy to think about, but I'm so grateful for
but
our
that's hope
marriage.
For somebody listening.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my relationship now.
Because you both did the work.
Yes. And his consistency, it's that though, it's the consistency of seeing them do the work. Like, he was in the same group meeting every Tuesday night for 3 hours, every week for 4.5 years. He still does it, and he just graduated from one as well. Like, he just did the work.
Yeah, I love that. And unfortunately, it drives me nuts to know how many kids are out there who've been abused because it is a lifetime sentence of something coming out until it doesn't, until it's fixed.
It's a lot of rewiring of the brain.
But here's the good news. It is a lot. And we talked about this last night a little bit. But Laura, the good news is that you're not confined to the condition of your past. Whatever happened to you in the past, you can heal from and change your entire life.
Absolutely.
You can change your entire brain. Your brain is plastic. It can be molded into something different. And you can be free from that damage.
You need to show that drawing that you do of all of that you did for me.
Which one?
The brain neuro pathways.
Oh, the neural pathways.
You need to do that on one of these.
I sure will.
Because that was super helpful for me.
It is. Oh my gosh. Me too.
Yeah.
Because I realized how I was a victim of my own repeated thoughts.
Yeah, you got to change them.
It is crazy how your brain works
because that's the other thing. I could have, if I didn't change the way I thought about this situation, I would still be what I was 4 years ago.
And here's the thing I want to point out that you said. You've said this to me in private as well, but I just want to make sure that people hear this. Laura, you're like a poster child for what to do after you catch an affair like that, because you made an intention
Yep.
to, when those, because those thoughts will come and they will haunt you and they will drive you into madness,
Yep.
like rolling in circles of madness. When they come, how you took them captive and you chose to think about that and not let that thought repeat itself. And it took me a long time through all of my healing and all of my stuff that I've been through to not let those thoughts of the past, because they will repeat themselves. It's automatic.
Yeah.
But we think, well, since the thought's coming up, it must be a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
No, you get to choose what, if you think about that.
That's right.
You choose it.
That's right. So how did you put new thoughts in your head when you were during that time? Like, what thoughts did you think to start rewiring that?
I would acknowledge that, yes, that was what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He did do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that thought was, yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
And this is true. I see him doing this every day. I see him. He said this to me today. That is true. And so I would switch my focus. I would always acknowledge that thought, though, because it's true.
Right. It's good.
Like, yes, he did do that. And he's also doing this.
Right.
And this is building trust for me today.
And you're creating new memories when you do that.
Yeah.
And the more in new pathways.
Yep.
And so the more that you think on where you're going instead of where you've been, the more that you think on what you want instead of what you don't want,
Yep.
the more you're creating a new brain, new thoughts, which equals a new life.
Yep.
But it has
Absolutely.
to be intentional. I often use the analogy, it's like thinking, I really want hourglass arms. I want Pilates arms. Okay, how many times do you go to Pilates this week? Oh, I haven't.
Yeah. That's the other thing that's really important, is looking after yourself.
That's it, yeah.
Put yourself first for a while. I had to do that. Like, I work out 4 times a week now. It's just, I have to do it. It's good for my brain. It's good for my body. It's good for just myself. It's good for my husband. You know what I mean? Like, I have to do this for me.
That's good.
And eating right and getting the supplements I need and
That's
all
good.
of those things, I had to put myself first. And it's so hard for us to do as women.
It is.
It's really
Especially
painful.
when you have kids at home.
Yeah, right.
It's really painful.
But yeah, I just had to choose, okay, I'm going to do this for me. Even going to the gym, I'd be like, I should be doing this for my kids or for whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take, it's just an hour. I can do this for an hour. You know?
I love that.
And my husband now, he's a trained coach, like a mind coach, meta coach.
Powerful as all get out too.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating some days when I want to sit in my bad thought, because he just reframes everything. And so he's taught the kids how to reframe everything. So anytime there's a thing, the kids will be like, Dad, I don't need you to help me reframe this. I just want to complain for a sec.
Yes. I know,
So
that's tough.
we've become this family of like choosing our thoughts and reframing our thoughts and all of that. And it's been really beautiful to watch.
I have a really specific question.
Yep.
What are 3 ways a woman can intentionally express her femininity, even in times when she feels like she's less than a woman?
I think putting yourself first is the number one, and being intentional about that. If that's like, hey, I need to go get a massage today, or I need to get a pedicure, put whatever else aside, whatever makes you feel good, you need to do it.
That's good.
And then obviously getting in the word,
Yeah.
or journaling every day, getting your thoughts out on
that's
paper
important. Yeah, that's good.
are really important. And then just having just a few friends that you can lean on.
Yeah. That's it. That's really good.
Yeah.
I love it, because when you are with other women, we really just egg each other on.
Absolutely.
And you can't be around, let me clarify that. I don't want to encourage women to be around other women that are toxic. I think it's important that you're around other
the
women.
right women, yeah.
Yeah, who are not competitive, who are not, backbiting, who are not trying to gossip about something all the time about you when you're not in the room. But being around women that make you laugh, that make you feel supported and seen and loved, that you also make laugh, support, and see
Yep.
and love. That's important that we that we connect like that. And for women who don't have that, because I get so many DMs of I don't have any friends, I always say, ask God to bring you a new group of friends, and He will.
He will.
It's just crazy how it happens.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, that prayer
And
got answered.
get out and do something about it.
Yeah.
Like, go be friendly
Yeah.
to someone. Like, go to the pickleball court or go to wherever to, like, make a friend.
That's it.
Start a new club. Like,
And
go
don't just sit in your house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to a ceramic class or where's people? Go find them. You know, like
I actually did pottery class. I loved it.
I'm about to do it. I broke my arm at the beginning of the summer, but as soon as my arm is better, I'm going to go do a ceramic class. I'm so excited.
I loved it. It was so therapeutic
Yeah,
for me.
right?
How do you personally stay grounded and connected to your identity as a woman, especially whenever your life feels overwhelming? I'll let you do that one.
Say that again. Sorry.
How do you personally stay grounded and connected to your identity as a woman, especially when you feel overwhelmed?
I try to take a moment and take that thought, whatever I'm feeling overwhelmed about, and just change the thought. And then again, go breathe, go do
Breathe is so
something.
big,
Breathing
yeah.
is so massive. Just, I don't know, go do something for yourself.
Go do something for yourself. Yeah. One of the things I tell my clients is, do you like to watch movies?
Yeah, go sit
Go
in
to a movie
bed or
by
go to the
yourself.
movies, go have a glass of wine. I
Yeah.
don't know, do something that you enjoy.
Yes. Go do something that you love. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
I love it. Find something cozy, like a cozy cardigan is my favorite.
Yes. Or my blankie.
Here's a blankie.
This is my
Yeah.
blankie.
This is your blankie.
Do you think it's possible to be both feminine and strong, especially in seasons of rebuilding or pain?
Yes. I think they both can coexist. Feminine and strong together. Absolutely.
What daily habits or spiritual practices help you live from a place of peace?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Again, intentional time in the morning. If I have to get up a little bit earlier than the family, so I can have that time. Writing, going to the gym is doing something for my body every day is really important. If it's just a walk around the block, that is so important to me because it gets my brain working the right way and gives me peace. And then
so good.
I love to go, we live near a river, so I need to go find some water. Water for me is like peaceful. So, I mean, I've got a pool in my backyard too. So if it's that's fine too. Just somewhere where I can see a little bit of water. I don't know why. I mean, it's biblical as well, I guess. It brings such peace and rest to me that seeing some movement in water just brings me peace.
It's
Do
so
you
good.
journal every day?
I try to. Yeah. I'm not great at it all the time because, again, I can get focused. That's why I'm so intentional about doing something for myself because as soon as I wake up, my brain is on everything I need to do that day. And so I really need to bring it back and be like, okay, what am I going to do for myself
first,
before
right.
I do?
It's so easy. I mean, we all struggle with that. And I think over the past couple of days, our intentional has been the word.
The word intentional has
Yes.
been everywhere. Yeah.
But just putting ourselves first.
Yeah.
Because as women and moms,
And then
we don't.
framing my day. So, and this is one of my husband's he does this every day. But writing what's my frame for today? I am confident. I am beautiful. I am strong. And from that frame, what am I going to do with it? How is Laura going to be confident today in what she's doing?
It's so
How
good.
am I going to be beautiful in who I talk to today? All of those things. So those three things I ams every day.
I love
So
that.
could you give examples of reframing? So
Yes.
Okay.
Let's think. Oh man, I've got to go make dinner. I don't have the things I need. Okay, thank God I get to make dinner for my family today. So just taking whatever because I'm a real quick complainer, a quick negative person.
You're not. You're so
No,
fun.
I asked my husband. So last night we got back from, 2 nights ago, we got back from a trip to New York. My instinct is to walk into the house and see everything that's
Wrong. Yeah.
And so Carl, before we walked into the house, he goes, okay, let's reframe how we're going to walk into the house. No complaining for you the whole night.
Oh, that's so good.
And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's a good frame for me, because usually I would come in and be like, the trash isn't taken out.
Yeah.
What have you, the sink is full of dishes. Like,
What's
that's
everybody
yeah,
doing?
what has
Yeah.
everyone been doing?
Yeah.
So I did that 2 nights ago, and I had such a better night.
Oh, that is so good, because I find myself with the 2 kids at home. I do the same thing. I know if I'm gone all day, I'm going to
Straight
walk
away, I'm
in.
going to walk in.
Yes,
I know
get
what I'm going to walk
irritated.
into.
Yes.
Irritated.
Yeah.
So him reminding me, hey, let's change the way we frame when we walk into the house.
So good.
Just
Yeah,
simple
something
things
little
like
like
that.
that.
But putting
Makes
it in-
such a big difference.
It makes a huge, and it keeps your whole position
Yes.
up.
And then it
'Cause
changes
complaining brings you way down fast.
and it changes because mom controls the whole environment,
Atmosphere,
the atmosphere of the
absolutely.
home. So for me, it's put jazz music on, love
it.
jazz music,
Come on.
and make dinner and just have a happy spirit.
It has to be intentional.
You have
'Cause
to
it
be
doesn't come
intentional.
naturally. And what
No.
comes naturally is what you both just shared.
Complaining.
What in the world? How come nobody fed the dogs? Why is
Right.
the trash overloaded? Seriously, what are you doing? Like,
Yep.
that's our natural flow. But to be intentional, to think, okay,
It's just a little mess.
it's
I can clean
there's
it up
life
later.
here.
My kids are here. Yes,
There's
family
life
is
here.
home. Beautiful.
That's right.
And in 2 weeks, it's not going to be that, because my girls are going to go back to college.
Yeah.
So I'm
that's
like,
right.
okay, I can reframe that today.
Laura, what would you say to the woman who feels like she's either too much or not enough?
Who are we comparing ourselves to?
Come on, let it out.
Like, too much for who? Like,
Right.
just be you.
That's it.
And God's made you a certain way and given you gifts. And just be comfortable and safe and in your skin.
Come on.
Like, just be like, okay, embrace who I am. God has given me gifts. He's created me in my mother's womb to be this person.
That's right.
I have things I can give the world.
That's right.
So if I'm too much for that person, I'm not going to be too much for that person.
That's right. Come
so
on.
just be you.
That's right. Okay. This is another really good question. What would you say to a young woman who's scared to get into a relationship out of fear of someone not being faithful to her?
Great question.
God, that's such a good question.
Fear is a frame you can live in.
Come on.
And if you live in that fear, that's what you're going to
Gonna
get.
That's right.
And so you have to believe the best, pick the right person. But that's another thing, you know, I love when I hear this question, especially in church. Pick someone that's godly, that's scripture, all of these things. I did all that. And look what I got. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to know this person fully.
That's
so
right.
you have to go all in
Right.
with full of faith and trust in that person.
That's right.
And then from there, you build a great life. But living in the fear of, you're going to live in that fear.
And you're going to attract
And you're
it.
going to attract
and
it,
live in
and
it.
that's what you're going to get.
That's exactly right. That is such a good answer.
You have to go full ball, like trusting in that person. If this is the man that you've picked, then just go all in
That's it.
and like build a great life and make sure that you've got the right people around you and all of those things. But there's going to be things that come up in life that you don't know and you
That's
can't
right.
control it.
That's right.
You can control you.
That's correct. Come on.
Yeah.
One of the things I tell my clients all the time who have been affected by this and now are like hyper vigilant and not, and
Yeah.
afraid it's going to happen again. I just said this to one of my clients the other day, is the safest place you can be is in trusting God. And just because he hurt you, the husband hurt you, doesn't mean God's not trustworthy.
Correct.
If you submit this situation to God, and I've had to do this in many situations where I go, you know what, Lord, if I need to know, you will show me. If I don't need to know, you will not show me. Guard my heart, guard my eyes, guard my ears, and show me what I need to see.
Yep.
And with that prayer, I literally take the situation, I put it on the shelf and push it back and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I love that.
Because for me, if I confess that and I say, Lord, I just trust you. If I need to know it, you'll show it to me. If I don't, you won't.
Yep.
And until that point, protect my ears, my eyes, and then literally push it off the shelf, and I got to keep moving. And that visual for me, I've had to do that over, and in a recent situation I'm in, I had to do that over and over and go, you know what, Lord, you're in control of this. You've got this. The outcome's going to be better because you're in it. I'm not going to obsess and try to dig in and prove who's right or wrong. I'm going to take the situation, put it on the shelf. I ask you to bless it and cover it, and I'm pushing it back. Show me what I need to know when I need to know it.
Love it.
That is so freeing.
Yep.
And so many of my clients have told me,
well, you either trust God or you don't.
because there's triggers everywhere
Yeah.
that make you go, oh my gosh, maybe they said this about me, or oh my gosh, maybe they're doing this behind my back, or they stole money from me, or they did it. Lord, if I need to know it, show it to me.
Love it.
And then
So good.
trust God,
Yeah.
because you either do or you don't.
Yep.
Because when you keep going and getting it off the shelf and bringing it down and going, wait, maybe I should take a look about that. And God's like, hello, you told me to take care of this. And if you needed to know, I would show you. Why are you taking it back down again? Like, this has been my process over the last 10 years. And I'm finally like, no, I put it on the shelf. I'm done with it. Let's go.
Yeah, that's great.
I've taught myself how to do that. So I want to give that to people listening and watching, that is one of the safest place I've found myself, because I agonize over things and I just like repeat.
Well, because we live in that anxiety of what if. And it's
Oh,
like, but
the
what
what
if
if is
the other
Satan's
side?
tools.
Yeah. What if it goes right?
Right.
Why are we always like what ifing on the bad?
Right.
What if it's not that and it's going to be
It's going to be great.
beautiful?
And another thing I want to share that maybe you can use this too is when those thoughts and fears come rushing back to your forefront and you start the what if, Satan beats you up with the what if. Well, what if he cheats again? Or what if you lose all your money? Or what if your kids don't ever speak to you again? Okay, go through the what if and go through the worst case scenario and get in peace with that.
Yep.
And then you've disarmed the enemy. But what I've tried to do now is I go, you know what? Whatever the enemy taunts me with, what if, whatever, if my mom dying? What if your mom died? So all my what ifs in my head, and in one part of my marriage years ago, I was just not ready to stay married to Simon. I was completely done. I wanted to move on. And so in my healing, I needed to create this vision. And I always like to give people listening, because this really works, is when my mind would come back to, no, it's not going to work out. I got to get out. I got to start over. I would go, no, catch that thought. And then I had a little variety. There were 3 thoughts that I'd put in my head, visions. One of them was, we're going to buy some land in the future. One of them was me and my husband riding our horses, which we don't even own or have. But I just put a vision in my head, and I'll close my eyes and I'll see my husband and I riding our horses on our land. And I look back, Laura, in my vision, and I can see my grandkids on their horses behind us. And I'm like, this is where I'm going. And my joy, and it's actually a hormone in your body that starts to rush over your body. And I just smile. I make myself smile while I'm looking at and I have 3 other visions just like that are my go-tos. So I'm training my brain that instead of flying back to the past, I pick up one of my visions and I just sit there and I see it and I make myself smile. And my body is flooded with oxytocin, which is
I love
the
that.
love hormone.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm back. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
That's a tool
I'm
that I
using
give
that.
so many of my clients, because the what ifs, especially when you're in recovery on something this devastating, that will torture you and it will keep you in prison. One more question I want to give you. What would you say to your 25-year-old self if you could speak?
I'm not sure I would change anything because I wouldn't be here today. And so everything I've gone through from the age of 25, which was, I'd already had 2 kids by 25. So all of this has got me to where I am, and I'm super grateful for it.
So maybe would you say to her, hang in there, everything's going to be okay?
Yes, everything's going to be okay. Yes.
Yeah, like don't give up.
Don't give up.
It's really good on the other side.
Yeah. You'll get through it. It's going to be fine.
So all the 25-year-olds listening, it's going to be okay.
And one day at a time.
One day
That's
at a
the
time.
other thing I live by
right.
every day is I'm just going to live today.
Well, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. If you listen to this and you have none of this relation in your life, you can't relate, that's never happened to you, send this to somebody who has. Share it on all your socials, because 9 times out of 10, there are many people around you that you call friend, sister, brother, whatever, that have experienced this kind of devastation in their life. And I believe that not only plugging into Laura and Carl Lentz's website, their podcast, their Instagram, that could become your therapy session in itself, because they give an enormous amount of tools and wisdom to actually walk people through, and stay plugged into everything they're doing, because they're coming out with some great resources soon to actually help people walk through this, because this is a shaming, devastating event. And unfortunately, people withdraw into holes instead of push out for help. And the holes are where you get eaten alive. So I want to encourage you to just really, really, really get in touch with them through their socials, plug in and stay plugged in, and watch all their podcasts, because it will help you if you've been affected by this. And again, before we wrap up, please go check out the organization that we founded over 10 years ago called Bochis.org. We want you to partner with us. We want you to help us create a reality for a bunch of victims of human trafficking and domestic violence that want hope and healing and a new life. They want that family too. They want that cute home too. And so if you can come alongside of us and help us make that reality for them, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.